She just sat there, literally shaking, her voice cracking under the pressure of frustration, as she admitted, "I just don't feel safe around him." That wasn't just Gwen Brown speaking to her dad on TV. That was a moment of unchecked honesty. A raw, unscripted outburst bred from years of quiet, control, and deeply buried pain. For the rest of us who've been following Sister Wives for over a decade, that's when the illusion ceased to exist. The illusion that the Brown family was still intact. Hey friends, I'm Anya, and you're watching Reality Recap. If you're sitting there in shock, heartbroken, or just plain confused about what's happening in the Brown family, let me tell you, you're not alone. Subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts on all of the things we're about to break down. Because what we're seeing from Kody Brown now, it's not just a flashier haircut or a brighter smile, it goes deeper. What we're witnessing is a full-blown public transformation, not to heal, but to prove something. The only question is, to whom? That's exactly what we're unpacking right now. We're following Kody's journey from heartbreak to high-priced real estate, from being the nucleus of a plural family to standing nearly alone. And no, this isn't just some cliché midlife crisis. It feels more like a desperate push to hold on to control over a family that's already slipping through his fingers. And the hardest to watch? It's all happening on camera, and his own kids aren't staying silent anymore. Ready to jump in? It's almost unimaginable how far Kody Brown has fallen. From self-styled patriarch of a big plural family with 4 wives and 18 kids, to being monogamously married to just one. Kody positioned himself like the sun in the Brown family solar system for years. Every family gathering, every feeling, every choice revolved around him. As the show went on, however, so did the Fishers, and soon the whole thing imploded. Christine was the first to leave, and let me tell you, it was like opening the floodgates. Her leaving wasn't about some love that died. It was about decades of being invisible, ignored, and emotionally thrown away. Recall that scene where she boxed up his belongings and put them in the garage? That wasn't petty. It was potent. It was her taking back her life. And in doing so, she created a domino effect. Shortly thereafter, Janelle took her stand as well. And for her, it wasn't even about love, so much as it was about dignity, autonomy, and getting up off the floor after being run over for years. Recall the pandemic arguments. Kody wanted control, even if it meant chasing their sons away. Janelle finally put down her foot, and he hated her for it. And then there was Mary, the waitress, the one who clung to hope more than anyone else, even after the emotional abandonment, even after the catfishing debacle. But eventually, she too had had enough. And how did Kody respond? With bitterness, not self-reflection. On camera, he redirected the blame onto his wives, accusing them of betrayal, of destroying the family, of turning the kids against him. But did he ever once say, "Maybe I failed them"? Not on your life. A man with 4 wives and a fearless dream once, Kody now has only Robin, and a deep well of bitterness that's ever harder to conceal. There's something different about Kody now, not just emotionally either, but physically. Just around the time his life started falling apart, viewers noticed something else. A physical change. Those scraggly curls and aging smile? Gone. Bleached, straightened teeth that gleamed on screen took their place. Reddit noticed right away. One user even joked that his new smile looked like a pageant flipper. Ouch. But let's be real. It wasn't just about the teeth. People were asking, what exactly is Kody trying to prove? And it didn't stop with dental work. He began showing up in episodes and cameos looking more put together, cleaner grooming, more polished outfits, and a whole vibe that screamed, I'm doing just fine. But for who? Because if you've been listening to what's actually being said in Sister Wives, he's far from okay. And then there's the money. About the time Christine left, Kody was making some pretty major financial moves. He began selling off large pieces of real estate, such as the once fabled Coyote Pass property. That was supposed to be the Brown family's paradise, their forever home. And in a flash, it was sold. Then, mere weeks after 3 of his wives walked out on him, Kody made a surprise action. He purchased a nearly $2 million home with Robyn. Glow up? Or image rehab? That's what everyone wants to know. Was this for the cameras, or a heads up to the ex-wives he's still got it? Fans aren't buying it. Screenshots from his cameo appearances started circulating on the internet, showing off his new look. Reactions varied from chuckling to downright awkward. A few perceived he was going too hard, while some guessed this transformation was all revenge, perhaps against Christine or even a bid to win Mary back. What's coming more into focus is this. Kody's transformation is more than superficial. It appears to be a conscious makeover, attempting to remake the script of who's really coming out on top these days now that everything has come crashing down. Sure, he's got a good smile and a mansion at this point, but if you scratch past the surface, the whole thing starts to feel almost sentimental, a little desperate. It's less about healing and more about control of narrative. Each step, from selling off family property to his actions on film, is more about attempting to elicit a response. It's less about new beginnings. It's a gesture to reclaim power. Let's start with Christine. Kody has not given up since she left him. Even when he professes to be over it, his actions tell otherwise. In Season 18 Tell All, he lost his cool, accusing Christine and her new husband David of building their entire lives around him and Robyn. The irony? Christine barely speaks about him, unless prodded. Meanwhile, Kody keeps dishing out the zingers, questioning her motives, calling her obsessed, and trying to ruin her happiness. It screams insecurity. He's projecting indifference, but it's clear he's still stinging about how fast she recovered her happiness. With Janelle, there is another kind of tension. Their pandemic conflict exposed how unwilling Kody was to adjust. She demanded equality and independence, and he demanded loyalty, his own terms. When Janelle did finally leave, she wasn't leaving a marriage behind. She was leaving the fantasy that Kody ever possessed any real authority. Then there is Mary, the longest waiting, the one he publicly claimed to have no romantic relationship with, until tears streamed during her move to Utah. His emotional reaction was conflicted, as if he didn't truly desire her return, but didn't want to lose her at all either. Maybe because as long as she stayed, the dream of plural marriage still had a rhythm. And now that she's single again, some fans can't help but wonder, is this glow-up partially aimed at Mary, too? All these decisions, every property sold, every video clip, every comment made on TV, seem connected by one through line. Not a desire to win anyone back, but to make those who left feel like they gave up something they should have held on to. And then there's Gwendlyn, Christine's daughter. And honestly, the voice we've needed. While a couple of Kody's older children have kept quiet, Gwendlyn has been anything but coy, both on Sister Wives and through her own social media and YouTube tell-alls. She's pulled the veil off, and in doing so, she's destroyed the well-constructed sociological illusion Kody has struggled so hard to preserve. In some episodes of Sister Wives, Gwendlyn makes her voice heard on how Kody handles her mom. She sees the favoritism. She denounces the manipulation. She breaks down on how he twists words and makes excuses to cover up. And what makes her voice so powerful is this. She wasn't just a spectator. She lived it. She sat through her mom crying. She felt the absence of a father who only showed up when it benefited him. She lived it, and she makes her voice very clear for that. She's not afraid to inform us, too, what all of us have been screaming at our televisions for decades. One of her most widely shared posts, informing Kody that his emotional throwing tantrums are performative, especially when directed at Christine, or used as a guilt trip on the kids. She even pointed out that Kody's love comes in with strings attached. It's raw, it's personal, and it resonates. You can feel the rift growing even greater, especially now that Gwendlyn has clearly aligned herself with Christine. She doesn't just stand up for her mom, she openly celebrates her. She embraces Christine's new life with David, and she accepts it without shame. She stands up for her mom for having the courage to walk out, and she's developed good relationships with her siblings, some of whom don't feel nearly as estranged from Kody. It's a quiet form of rebellion, one rooted in reality. Gwendlyn's candor isn't just needed, it's threatening to the story Kody's been telling. And maybe that's exactly why it's so hurtful. She's not afraid to confront his dominance. She's not afraid to be her own narrator. And in being so, she's making space for the rest of the Brown family, especially the kids, to have their say for the first time. Which leads us to here, Kody Brown, living in what he now calls his new life. A new smile, $1 million home, and a peaceful home all to himself and Robin. No Christine, no Janelle, no Mary, and perhaps most disconcerting of all, almost no adult children present. The great polygamist pulpit he stood so proudly upon, it's crashed. What's left is a single man grasping for dear life to the few remaining pieces of the facade he so zealously constructed. Sure, outwardly, the reboot might be seen to suggest that he's okay, maybe even thriving. But if you've watched the show, if you've heard the confessions, witnessed the fights, and endured the silences, then you know that the real truth is rather more messy. This is not a glow-up. It's a diversion. Not recovery, but distraction. It's a well-constructed facade, meant to distract from how much he's actually lost and how little he wants to take responsibility. Because for all the external changes, Kody still hasn't shown genuine emotional growth. He hasn't sat with the hurt of being called out. He hasn't accepted the challenge of making right. Instead, he's tried to retell the story, casting himself as the one left behind, the one nobody understands, the one who's finally at peace. Peace doesn't look like this. Peace does not resemble half your kids refusing to speak with you. Peace does not stem from fooling yourself that the women who left were jealous or resentful. And peace definitely does not stem from property acquisitions and a new, sparkling new set of veneers. So, just what does this new life actually mean? Is it real freedom? Is it real reinvention? Or is it smoke and mirrors? A performance, not to celebrate healing, but to quietly infuriate the ones who had the guts to leave. You decide. Has Kody really moved on? Or is this just another act in a play where the spotlight is slipping from his fingers? Leave your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up this video, and tune in. Because here at Reality Recap, we're only just getting started.